Welcome to a video from digitallife.com. A bit of a different camera angle today, because on this video I'm going to be showing you how you program DW8000. I've done a few tutorials on program analog synth. I started off with a really basic Jen SX1000 mono synth. It's the first video, and that's about as basic as they come, and it's a great way of introducing you to analog synthesis. I followed that up with a video on the Korg Minilogue, which is a nice recent 4-voice poly analog synth. So it's a great way of getting into poly analog. This one we're going slightly on a tangent. We're going to 1985 and the DW8000. I've done a whole video about the DW8000 and how its lineage is all the way through to modern synths like the Modwave and the Multipoly, because the Wavetables, and this is a Wavetable synthesis, are included in those synths. Even on the MS2000 it's included on the Korg. So this synth, while it's a bit of a curiosity in terms of its technology, its legacy continues. So this is a hybrid synth that has digital oscillators, wavetables. You can see you've got the wavetables on there. So we've got 16 different wavetables. And then the rest of it is analog synthesis. It's got lovely filters. You can hear at the start that I played this, my favorite pad sound, how lovely and warm it sounds. And that's using the Sawtooth wavetable. So I'm going to show you how we actually program it, and so give you an idea of how to program hybrid synthesis, like wavetable synthesis. If you go on look at the Multipoly, I've done videos on that and how you can do it in the modern environment. This is how you do it on this classic synth, unless it's got a lovely sound, a nice arpeggiator, and so on. So we haven't got loads of controls on this one, loads of knobs. We've only got the front panel, but actually it's really easy to edit, and it's a good example of how when synths transition from all the knobs everywhere into the digital era, actually they didn't get too complicated at this stage, because every parameter you need is listed on there. So for example, on this one we may have probably got 2 oscillators on there. So I go to parameter mode, so we're into sort of edit mode, choose a parameter, and I've got 2 oscillators, which I can use either of these for these 2 oscillators. 13 and parameter 23 are the oscillator levels. So if I dial up 23, you can see its value is 31, which is the highest it goes, and I can take that down. And so we'll only hear oscillator 1, which is parameter 13. So you can just hear how this one is just using a bit of detune. So let's have a look at the parameters we've got. So if we want to change the octave, we just got that. So on some synths you'd have a multi-select. On this one, it's just that parameters. Then the next bit is the interesting bit, is the oscillator. Now the filter is currently fairly low on this, so I'm going to go to 31 filter and just open that up. And you can hear the waveform a bit more now. Also, I'm going to increase the attack as well, which is 51. See how easy it is to program. You can do it with the values as well. That's too slow. That's what I wanted. Okay, so now we've got 1 oscillator, filter open, fast envelope attack. So we'll go to parameter 12, look at the waveforms, and here you can see we were using the Sawtooth for that lovely pad sound, but I can now go through them. And in fact, the manual gives you, I can show you on there, the manual gives you what the waveforms are. So waveform 1 is for brass, strings, analog synthesizers. 2 is for clarinets. 3 is for acoustic pianos. 4 is for electric pianos. 5 for electric pianos hard. 6 for claves. 7 for organs. 8 for brass. 9 for saxophone. 10 for violins. 11 for acoustic guitar. 12 for distorted guitar. 13 for electric bass. 14 for digital electric bass. 15 for bells. And 16 for organs and whistles. Let me play some of those now. So there you can hear the Sawtooth. 2, there's that clarinet type sound. Sounds like a square wave, but you can see the shape on there. And number 3. And what did Korg say? 3 was for acoustic pianos. In the lower regions you can probably vaguely get there. Number 4 was for electric pianos, which you can definitely hear that. And don't forget that this was the era of the DX7, when people really wanted those electric piano sounds, which is, they didn't want analog synths, majority wanted real acoustic instrument sounds from the synths. Like, that's why the DX7 was so popular, because it could make guitars and things, and later you've got the M1s and so on. So there's 4, which is the electric pianos. 5 is the hard electric pianos, so it's got more overtones on it, so that's going to give us some nice bell tones. 6 would be our clavinet. 7 is organs, and you can get some nice organ sounds out of this. Especially if you get 2 and do a bit of tuning apart, which we'll show you later. And then what we've got, brass. Doesn't sound very brass-like, but when you hear some of the brass programs are in there, they actually sound, you get the envelopes right, they sound quite good. The saxophone, again, envelope will affect that. The violin, acoustic guitar. I can quickly show you if I go to the decay parameter. And the breakpoint. We'll come back to envelopes actually, because they're a bit more complex than you think on traditional ADSR ones. And what was on acoustic guitar? Let's go for a distorted guitar. So go back to parameter 12. The next one is electric bass. Then we've got a digital bass. You can hear those overtones on there. And then we've got bell. Sounds very FM. In fact, that almost could be the Top Gun sort of type bell sound. And then we've got organ and whistle, which is a nice sine wave. So choosing the waveform, nice and easy. Then you've got waveform level. Then a nice little thing we haven't got a pitch envelope, but we have got Autobend. So Autobend is like a pitch envelope. And if we have a look at parameter 14, it's set at 0 at the moment, but we can have it set to do oscillator 1, oscillator 2, or both. So let's do oscillator 1, because don't forget we've got 2 oscillators, so we have some detuning, get some nice effects. Good for brass type sounds. So let's put it onto oscillator 1. We can set the mode, which is parameter 15. So we'll go up or down. So we're going to go up, and then parameter 16 is the time, and then the next one is the intensity. So I'll put the time quite long, and I'll put the intensity up, and you'll hear it. And there's the full sort of range of it, but I do it a little bit. And maybe that mode, I'm just going to do it the other way. And then now if I bring up oscillator 2's level, that's 23. And if I change oscillator 2 to be the sine wave as well. So they'll start out of tune and end up back in tune, and you can subtle that down, turn that to make it a bit more subtle. To see how nice effect that is already. So that's the intensity. So that's all oscillator 1's settings. We can oscillator 2 as exactly the same, except the difference is we've got a detune on that one. So let's go to oscillator 2, and it's interval, so you can hear that. So you can hear those intervals, so you can set them tuned apart, like fifth apart. So sort of Japan type sounds. Or you can just have detune, which is how you get sort of that chorus effect. And there's 6 on that one, so that's quite high now. I'm going to switch waveforms back to the Sawtooth for now, just so it's a bit easier to hear what I'm talking about. And 17, not turn that down as well. Okay, we've got noise. Already just a bit of detune on 2 Sawtooths. It sounds great, doesn't it? Now to the really turn that noise down. To the really the rich, the nice secret of this really is the filters. I think the same as the Poly 61 filters. So I can bring it right down. And then you can hear that. It's a really nice filter on there. With some resonance as well. So if I fiddle, this is one thing where you're probably missing the 2 parameters just to tweak them how you want. But let's just it sounds digital because you hear the steps on there, but that's the digital control of the VCA. So it's an analog filter with digital controls on it. So if you use a bit of envelope on it, then you get a nice sweep on it. So I'm going to bring the filter down. I've got keyboard tracking as well, and we've got some polarity, which is something you don't always see. So you can have the envelope work one way, say up and then down, but if you have negative polarity, you can have it to go down then back up again, something which is pretty uncommon. So we've got an intensity for the envelope, the filter envelope, which has its own envelope there. So let's turn that up. So I'm going to bring it right to the top, and let's have a look at the VCF now. See how logically this works as well as you go from sort of left to right. So that's with a lower attack. So let's bring that resonance down a bit. Then you can hear that nice filter sweep. So the envelopes, you haven't just got ADSR, you've got attack, decay, breakpoint, slope, sustain, and release. And the manual nicely shows you that. I'll show you a picture of that. There you can see. So we go from the attack to the decay point, then we go to the breakpoint, and then we've got the slope, time, sustain level, and release. So we've got those extra steps in there. So if we go to 42, and then if I make 40, so if I make 43 quite low, the breakpoint, that will bring it back down again. It brings it back down. And then we could have 44, a bit of slope time to the sustain, and then we get to sustain level. And of course, we've got some release as well. And we've got velocity. It's velocity sensitive and aftertouch sensitive. My aftertouch doesn't work anymore, but the velocity still works nicely. So we can apply that. So let's put that right to the top. So it makes it nice and sort of responsive. So when it comes to the VCA, you've already let me play with that. It's exactly the same envelope on that as well. I'm going to increase the release a bit on this one. Now I could, just to give you a bit of interest, we could go for one of the different waveforms in Oscillator 2. Maybe a bell, which is 15. You can hear that, or maybe this hollow sound of number 2. That. Now we've got some MGs, modulators, so LFOs, and we've got some different ones. So we can do, first of all, we can select the waveform of the modulator, so of the LFO. We've got triangle, sawtooth, down, sawtooth, up, and square. We can set the frequency of it. We can have a delay on the LFO kicking in, which is always really nice. And then how do we apply that? We can apply it to an oscillator, or we can apply it, or oscillators, or we can apply it to the filter. I'm going to apply it to the filter. So 65, I'm going to put that high up. And then let's have a look at 61, which, so we're going on the triangle wave. And 62, you can't tempo sync this, is the frequency. And what we could do, that's frequency spread. There we go. And the delay, what that does is just hold off that LFO. So let's put a bit of delay on it. There you go. So if you would like to create like a lead flute sound, it's quite nice to have that delay instead of using the joystick. Now we could apply that to the oscillator as well, so pitch. We've got the joystick down here at the bottom, up, down, left and right. So pitch left and right, up and down is the bend, and you can apply that there as well, and whether it affects the filter as well. Now, one of the really nice things on this is the digital delay that really makes it, gives it a nice, first of all, nice stereo sound, and just some nice sort of warmth to it as well. Believe for a digital delay, you get some interesting effects with it. So I'm just going to increase the filter cutoff for now so that we can hear it a bit easier. Okay, I'm going to bring that on the VCA. I'm going to bring the decay time down a bit as well, just to make it more percussive. Right, I brought the sustain down as well. Let's bring the release down a little bit as well. Right, okay. So let's have a look. So we've got digital delay, we've got a time, a factor, feedback, mod frequency, mod intensity, and the effect level. So I'm going to put the level up so we can hear that. Now we can't hear a lot at the moment. So let's have a look at the time. It's quite short at the moment. Let's put it long. There you go. And then we've got this factor. Let's see what that does. So it's like a multiplication on that time. And then you can hear it changing pitch slightly. I think that's the mod intensity, mod frequency. So there's without any intensity, there's with full. There you can hear that. That's the frequency, and the mod intensity would then make that. You can hear that frequency, or I can have it. So you play about with that and you can get some nice effects with it. I tend to like the shorter delay. But you can get some interesting effects with that. We've got Portamento on there after it as well, and Aftertouch. We've got a couple of different poly modes, the way it allocates key, but this is your traditional one. But we've also got a Unison mode as well. You can hear it straight away. If I let's put my breakpoint back up again. So I made it more of a lead sound now. You can hear that delay now, and you can hear the unison. Put it back into poly mode. So, give you an idea of the type of things you can do with it. You've heard a nice sort of pad sound. Okay, you've got some nice bell sounds. You hear that you hear the delay, and you can hear the bell, the wavetable. And as I mentioned about brass sounds earlier on, some nice, real good synth brass sounds. I suspect there's a bit of auto bend on that one. So let's have a look at parameter 17. Yeah, there we go. Just a little bit, but if I turn it right up, you can hear that that first oscillator. It's got that. Without it, it sounds like that. But with it, it just adds that bit of analog because one of the oscillators is catching up to the other one. So we've got the traditional electric piano, not traditional as in the DX7 type, but it's a bit warmer, I think, than a DX7. We've got it can do synth. It can do synth strings very well. Some nice gritty sounds, especially low down. It sounds great, doesn't it? 6-note polyphony on there. 8-note polyphony. So there's a piano sound. Not brilliant, but you can get what they were trying to achieve. Here's one I created with a nice bit of pitch envelope. I mentioned organs. There's a lot of, you can get some nice organ sounds out of it. It's Genesis type, 80s Genesis organ sounds, Abacab type era. Here's a nice synth string. It's instantly got that warmth to it, which is what I really like. So we've got the traditional sort of synth lead type sounds, and there's special effects in there as well. Oh, this is one I like. A bit of noise on it, but yeah, there's some effects on here. It's in drums. So it can do some interesting tones. This is one of my favourites though. Nice sort of in the air tonight pad. Done with the Prophet 5, but I think this fits in quite well. So that is how you program a hybrid synth like the DW8000. It's pretty unique in its wavetables. For that time, there were other ones like PPG Wave. You can't. There's some things you can't do, like you can't step through those waveforms while it's playing through an envelope or something. That would give you that PPG sound. You can't do that on this, so that does restrict it a bit. If you like those sounds, you can get those exactly on the Multipoly and on the Modwave, and I've got sound packs for those synths recreating these sounds, many of the presets and some of the ones I demonstrated today, because all those wavetables are in there. The filters are models, and you can get very close, almost identical. But you can't beat that nice warm sound of a nice VCF, can you, like that? It's a lovely synth. I really like it, and it's a bit underrated, really. Got more videos about this on my YouTube channel. Check out those other videos which I mentioned about I've got some demos of how that sounds on the other synths as well. If you've got any questions about the DW, let me know. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.